कब कहाँ कब खो गई जितनी भी थी परछाइयाँ उठ गई यारों
2.5 years ago, I was studying abroad in India. We were stationed up in a hill station called Missouri, and as I went around a corner, my bike skidded out of control and I just lost my balance and teetered off a 70-foot cliff and landed on my head. The doctor told me what happened, and I said, will I ever be able to walk again? And he says, well, we don't know. And I said to him, well, that's okay. So if I walk again, that's great. But if I don't, that's okay too. We're going back to India to introduce wheelchair rugby to a paraplegic rehabilitation center. We're off. We are
Finally off.
finally off. The first time I looked through the eyes of being disabled, I saw India. And I finished rehab and I sort of had to start a new life being in a wheelchair. That also was sort of learning how to do basic things, how to take care of yourself. For the second time since I was an infant, I still couldn't forget India, because that was where I first saw my life as someone who was disabled. And that was the first time I really saw.
How are you doing? Good. Fine.
I'm hot. Not as someone on the outside looking in on the disabled world, but someone who is a part of that. I was first a part of the disabled community here in India, and what I saw here was so mind-boggling. The fact that there's no accessibility, the fact that very few people have insurance, the fact that there are only maybe 3 spinal cord specialized hospitals in the entire country, which is larger in population compared to the US. And yet the US has hundreds of hospitals, hundreds of rehab hospitals for people with spinal cord injuries. And it was just mind-boggling, because I was there on a hospital bed on bed rest for 3 of 5 weeks. And the people who would sit next to me and who would hold my hand or would show what they were learning in rehab, these were people that were going back to homes and families that they would be completely dependent on, and back to communities that looked down on them, and back to a society that just didn't know how to deal with people with disabilities. And I was going back home to the US. So now we're here to start a wheelchair rugby team. We hope to just be an encouragement and a resource for these guys and their families that are living here, demonstrating skills that I've learned in rehab back at the States. It's like transfers, wheelies, things that quadriplegics here in India don't normally learn.
It's okay. Musket, you go with that.
Relationship building is really the most important thing, because rugby is just a coping mechanism.
Forward and back.
It's just a tool. It's just a tool to get somewhere. But it's through relationships that people encourage one another and that people can give hope to another person. It's only through relationships that we feel like someone understands our position and where we are. And as someone who's disabled, yes, I'm coming from America. Yes, I'm coming from a financially stable background that has allowed me to travel to India so many times in the past 2 years. But yes, I am disabled and I can relate to someone else who's disabled like me. in a poor neighborhood in the middle of downtown Delhi who can't get a job and their father's supporting 6 people. At that level, if I can build a relationship with someone like that, then we have the opportunity to encourage them.